Hey there, Yinzers. Double AP bringing you another episode of Yinzology, the study of everything Pittsburgh. Happy National Egg Day, Yinzers. We eat a lot of eggs in our house. How about you? Even when eggs were a health concern in the late 90s, we still were eating them up. And it looks like they turned out to be a superfood, and they lied to us. You can eat them to lose weight, gain protein, and it's all about how you want your eggs. Poached, scrambled, over easy, hard boiled, fried, sunny side, soft boiled. Well, today, if you're from the burgh and you're a Yinzer, sometimes you just want a dippy egg. And what better day to explain what a dippy egg is than today, as we break out of our shells and we dive into a dippy egg. Now, the most basic understanding of a dippy egg is basically a sunny side egg or an over easy egg. A sunny side egg is cooked undisturbed. You don't flip it until the whites are just barely set and the yolk is still raw, it's translucent, it's runny, it's bright, and it's yellow, bright yellow. An over easy egg is gently, easy flip over. You flip it over easily to lightly sear the top of the egg without breaking it. It still has a runny yolk set in a pillow of albumin, or the whites of the egg. Not to be confused with a Spanish fried egg or a huevo frito, all right, which is cooked in hot oil, which also has a runny yolk. Basically, we're going to keep it simple. It's basically a sunny side egg. Now, this Pittsburgh vernacular probably originated with the Pennsylvania Dutch, not to be confused with people from the Netherlands. Don't think Dutch, think Deutsch. All right, these are descendants of Germany, German-speaking immigrants that settled in the Pennsylvania area around the 17th and 18th century. And you could also mix in a little bit of the Swiss folks and the French folks that make up the German American Pennsylvania Dutch, who probably came up with this dippy, which comes from the word dip, the English roots meaning to immerse yourself or to plunge. You think of the Pittsburgh Polar Plunge, or when you go to Kennywood, you think of the Pittsburgh Plunge. You're plunging into the waters, you're dipping in. You're dipping your toes in the waters, just like you're dipping into the yolk of an egg. Now, don't ask me why, but my wife's put stickers, Yinzology stickers, on all of our appliances. So this is not sponsored by Black & Decker. I don't know why she did that. But anyways, I'm going to show you how I make my very own dippy eggs and walk you through this. You'll want to get preferably a non-stick skillet with a little lid, glass lid, and then got your toaster with the toast and 3 eggs. And you always, just a little recommendation, 3 eggs instead of 2 in case you break one. Now don't be shy with the butter. Put some of that in the pan. And you want to, I'm always messing around with the heat. I started off high. Oh, you're always going to want a cup of joe. And look at this. You done messed up, Ron. And I'm always messing with the heat. I start out high to get it nice and hot, just to save on time, to get that pan nice and hot. But then during the process, I'll go down to medium, I'll go down to low, depending on where I want to fluctuate the heat and where I want my eggs. I'm always messing around with the heat. So I cannot tell you low to medium. I'm all over the place. And look at this rookie move. I broke an egg already. So that's why you want to go with 3 for backup. And then put the lid on. And I use like the lid for a steaming effect. All right. And that hot air gets trapped. And so it'll steam the eggs nice. And you can also do this without a lid. If you think of how if you fry a steak in a pan, use lots of butter. You know how them sous chefs take a spoon and they take the melted butter and they continually, like they'll tip the pan where all the butter will come down to the bottom, and they'll take that spoon and they'll they'll over and over again, they'll pour that butter over the steak. To use the hot butter to cook the steak. You can cook the whites of the egg with that hot butter, but I don't do it that way. I use the lid, and I like to steam it. And on a side note, I got to recommend these organic chicken sausages from Costco. Just nuke them for about 35-40 seconds. And now while the eggs are cooking, I like to take the spatula and break up the middle of the whites of the egg to try and get more heat coming up from the center. You see how I'm doing that? And that'll allow more heat to come up to get trapped in under that lid. All right, once the sausage are cooked up, the toast pops. Butter your toast. And another recommendatione, I go with 2 pieces of toast to put the Dippy eggs on, and then I have a backup 3rd piece of toast just for backup to make sure, you're getting all your egg with every bite. You're getting a piece of toast with every bite of your egg. So, yeah, 1 piece of toast for each egg. And then see how I'm just working those eggs around a little bit, moving that white of the egg away from the center. And then you can even get a little bit of water in a glass and pour a little bit of that water right in the center to help with creating a little more hot steam to cook the tops of those eggs a little bit. Then as you get closer to the end, you want to dash of salt and a little bit of pep sprinkled on the tops. And after I do this, I kill the heat and I let it sit. I let the eggs sit on there without any heat, but it's still hot. So they're still cooking, but you want to turn that heat off towards the end so you don't overcook them. And again, however you like the dippies, if you want full on dip, you cook them less. You want a little bit of dip with a little bit of cooked yolk, you leave them on a little longer. You just play around, mess around, figure out what you like. There's no one Dippy egg. There's variations, varying degrees of the dip. All right, and then after you season the eggs, they're going to slide onto your toast. And sometimes I like to lay them out on the toast and then flip a little bit of the broken egg right atop, and it's going to help cook the tops a little bit. And there you go. Now it's time to line up your soldiers of toast. I think that's something that the British came up with. But you get your soldiers of toast ready for the battle of the dip. And that's the beauty of the dip. There's no limit. There's no limit to what you can dip. Everything from your taters to protein. You got your steak, chicken, all bread products. Any type of bread, biscuits, toast, bacon. If you're from the South, even dip your grits. You can dip them grits, some more steak, any and all items. Dip away. Dip, my friends, dip. Dip to all you yinzers. Dip away today on National Egg Day. Sometimes I look at this, I take my Dippy egg, put it on the end of the toast. This is what I love to do. Watch this. See that? You line it up, and then you don't even dip. It's just gone.
We've been getting away with murder for the last couple of weeks. Our high today could possibly be... That's it.
Until next time, Yinzers, I'm Double AP, and I'm out.